Hi there, welcome into the channel. Are you over 50 and looking for a side hustle that's going to bring you in some extra income working from home? Then reselling might just be the job for you. Today we're going to look at 10 tips on things you just need to know to start out reselling when you're over 50. So welcome in. Thanks for joining me. My name is Laura with the Curated Caravan. I have been a reseller for about 13-ish years, and I do sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, a little bit on Etsy, and I love reselling. It has been a great business for me. I like the flexibility, and that's why I keep doing it. So we're going to look at 10 tips that will get you started in reselling. Okay, so number one is to start with what you own. There's no need to go out and source or thrift before you know that you even like reselling. So a lot of people think it sounds like fun, love the idea of shopping for work, but might detest photographing, listing, cleaning, all the other stuff that comes with it, and it just might not be worth it for you. So to begin with, start with things you already have. Who knows what vintage treasures you already have lying around your house that are just collecting dust that you could be making some money on. So whether it's clothes, old books, old records, I think my cat's coughing up a hairball over here. So don't put out a lot of money to begin with until you know you like it. Oh, I should note, I am here in the Caravan, which some of you have asked to see. It is a disaster. It has far too many things in here than were my intention to be in here. I thought I could keep half of it cute with a little, the table and the chairs, and the other half could be storage. And as it has ended up, because I have such an overflow of extra inventory that my seats are taken up with inventory. I've got, shoes back here. I've got boxes over in the other chair. It's pretty much a disaster. I will do a quick little tour for you right now. So it's an old, I think it's from the 60s. There you go. That I'm, full disclosure here. It's not pretty. A 60s Bulls Arrow that I bought for $200. No leaks. It's in great condition, but I took out and kept. I still have them. But the old vintage refrigerator, the old vintage stove, which are adorable. They're completely adorable. The bathroom that wasn't it didn't have a toilet in it anyway. But anyway, I painted everything, cleaned it all out, put in a new floor, and kept the dinette up front. But put in areas shelving just for storage. So, at some point, if I ever have another bedroom that I could dedicate to reselling, I will do that and maybe turn this into something cute. But as it is now, it is all function. Back to the story. Number two, we're going on to number two. Pick your platform. So it all depends on what you're wanting to sell. eBay is just a general good base to start from because you're probably going to get more sales from eBay. At least for me, it's always been my consistent seller. I started out, 13 plus years ago selling on eBay, and I only sold on eBay. It just gets more eyes. Your fees are more, but it is worth it for the eyes. Number two for me is Poshmark, because I sell primarily clothing and shoes and accessories. So Poshmark is great for that. You do not have to pay to list like you do on eBay. I think eBay gives you a certain amount free, which I have a store. So, I pay monthly to have my store. But I think you get quite a few free on eBay to begin with. So you're not out anything just to try it out. The same through with, like I said, with Poshmark, there are no listing fees. You are charged after you sell. I also sell on Mercari, also no listing fees, but I wouldn't start out on Mercari because you're just going to get frustrated more than likely because the sales are slow. Same as with Depop, unless you are like 20 and know what is really hot and trendy right now, which maybe you do, but that's what Depop is good for. Etsy is great for vintage items, but you do have to pay, I believe it's 20 cents an item to list. So that deters me from selling from Etsy, and I just wasn't getting a lot of sales on Etsy. So I maybe sell a few vintage items over there, but it's not much. So pick your platform. You only need one platform to start out with. I would start out just selling on one platform. It keeps things easy. You don't get confused. Because even now, I have over 2,000 items listed. And like I said, I sell on 4 platforms. So when an item sells and you forget to take it off, that can be, very disappointing to the buyers. And you get penalized on eBay for that. So stick to one when you're starting and just put all your effort into that one. Number 3 on my list is photos. You're going to need to take photos of your items, of course. Just a simple setup, a simple background. I know for a while we were doing the flat lays with the cute things and all that kind of stuff. That's gone. People just want a simple background. If you have an area with natural light, a white wall, and a hanger, you are set. I see things listed on a wood floor with good light. Good lighting is so essential. If your lighting is not the best, of course, you can amp it up in post photo. But if you can, use an area that's got a light and a clutter-free background, unlike my own today. A hanger's good. You don't even need a mannequin. That's for later down the road. And I still use my iPhone. I use my iPhone. I've tried cameras. I just don't, I like having just to put it in my pocket, and they're quick and they're easy and they're good photos. So, start out with your cell phone. I think it works great. Number 4 would be pace yourself. You're not a 20-year-old anymore. You don't have to do, I've heard people doing like 50 listings a day. No, you don't have to do that. If you're starting out, give yourself a goal. Maybe do a bin a week, maybe do 5 things a week, maybe do 10 things a week, whatever works for your schedule and your energy level. Tip number 5 is where to source. So like I said, start out, source from your home, but once you've moved beyond that, you don't have anything else to sell. You can go to thrift stores. You can even do retail arbitrage if you have, I love my TJ Maxx yellow tag sales somewhat. I used to do a lot of that. Actually, I started out doing all that, but the market is saturated with that stuff. But anyway, I digress. Thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, friends that know that you're going to resell. Sometimes they just donate stuff that they're getting rid of, and that is great. I didn't used to like to do it because I thought I would feel bad if I didn't want to list all of their things, or, if I felt, they're not the brands that you want to sell. Now I just say, okay, can I donate what I don't use? And usually people are happy with that. And then I can just look through, see if there is anything that is of value to resell. I would not recommend doing any sort of consignment for people or saying, oh, I'll give you half of what I make off of this, or whatever percentage you want to work out. Don't do it. From experience, people always expect more. They don't think about fees. It can take a lot longer than they're expecting. I have on occasion bought things from people. I prefer not to do that either. I usually just take, if you want to donate to me, that's great. But, I just don't like to go there. Number 7? Nope. Number 6. Number 6 is what to price things at. So what you got to do is go onto eBay, go onto Poshmark, do a search of your item that you're selling, and then find what has sold. We call them comps. Look at comps. Look at what things have sold for, not what things are listed at, which sometimes I do still. Because that way you can really see what the value of your items are. We all do this too. All resellers do this when you're out at the store, out at the thrift store, out of the garage sale. Hopefully not at the garage sale because people don't like that. But you start looking up comps, seeing what things are selling for, because those are the actual prices, not what things are listed for. And then price your items, at a competitive rate to that. Probably higher, because you want to leave yourself some room for offers. Sending you offers and you sending out offers, both of those. Number 7, don't be afraid to adjust your prices, adjust your listing title, adjust your photos, your keywords. If it's not working after 30 days, reevaluate what you've got going on there. Do you need to lower your price? Is your photo blurry at all, or lighting not good? Take all those things into consideration and adjust accordingly. Number 8, we have more experience in our later days, don't we? And we know how to give better customer service. Be sure that you are answering questions that people give you. I like to package my items nicely. I have gotten some packages that you just wonder, I've gotten some packages that have been very tacky. So just put a little bit of effort into it. It doesn't take much. It should be folded nicely. Don't just throw things into it. Don't use like a cereal bag or a cereal box to send your items. You can get free shipping supplies from USPS. Save your old Amazon boxes. Poly mailers aren't that expensive. And you can buy just a few at a time from a source like Shipping Hip has very cute mailers. If you just want to get 10, just get 10 mailers. If you're selling on Poshmark, go to USPS and they'll send you them for free. Yeah, so I like to write a cute note. I get messages all the time on the cute notes. People appreciate a little bit of time, a little bit of good customer service. People want to know that they're buying from a person and not just a drop ship company. So all those little things add up to good customer service. Now, let's say you decide you like reselling and you want to upgrade. Here are a few things that you can upgrade to. Like I said, I think I mentioned before, a mannequin. A nice mannequin makes a big difference if you've got the room to store one. Mine is in my living room. It's definitely not a necessity, but it's a nice upgrade. Some things look a lot better on a mannequin. Oh, a label printer. So you can do your labels right there at the post office. If you're not selling much, I guess that's an easy thing to do. I've never done that. I started out printing on my printer and then taping onto my packages, which works fine. I upgraded from that to buying sticky labels that I would print onto and then stick those onto my mailers. And then from that, I upgraded to a thermal printer, which I love, love, love. You're not always getting ink all the time, which, can be expensive. They don't run out of ink. It's a thermal printer. Mine is wired. I definitely would recommend, when you are upgrading, when you know that you're really going to stay reselling, to a wireless thermal printer. They're awesome. My cat is coming to visit. Okay, that was number 9. Now let's move on to my last tip, and that is to keep good records. Whether it's just a notebook or a spreadsheet, if you're tech savvy, accounting software, any of that kind of stuff is great. You don't want to get to the end of the year and be thinking back, how much did I pay for this? When did I buy this? How much did it sell for? If you keep a good spreadsheet, you will save yourself a lot of headaches. When I take in my items to begin with, I have a notebook that I write down all my specifics on, all my measurements, my materials, and all that kind of stuff. And then when I'm bulk listing, I've got all that there in front of me. That's just what I do. Everybody does something different. It's good to keep good. I know a lot of people do a number system with their inventory. If I had just straight racks and I could just, have things in racks, normally, like a normal person would in a normal room, that would be great. As it is, mine, you would never, if you were or not me, you would never be able to find anything in this trailer because it's my own system. I've got my shirts A to Z, but then I got some over it. You know, it's a mess. It's a mess. So if I were you, start out organized. That is definitely a good tip from me. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you have learned anything that you think you can put to good use, if you are a brand new reseller over 50, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you might never see my videos again. That's what happens. Sometimes I'll watch somebody, I don't subscribe, and I don't know what happened to them. I can't remember their name. They're gone forever. So put a like and subscribe. Leave me a comment where you're watching me from. I'd love to hear from you. I post weekly. I post hauls. I post thrift with me's. I post what solds and odds and ends. Who knows whatever I'm thinking that week. So again, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.